Hi, Thomas. Nice to have you here. You are the co-founder of AllOfficeCenter in
Yes.
Germany. We've been partners for some years now with the Coworking Europe conference, and it was the opportunity also to catch up because you just released a report about the evolution of the Flex offering and Coworking in Germany. If it's okay for you, we can go through some numbers. But first of all, I will maybe let you introduce yourself and AllOfficeCenter.
Yeah, nice to see you in this way now. At first, this is a different way that we had last years, but the first video call I think that we had. But it's a new experience. It's great. Yeah, I'm Thomas Schultz. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of AllOfficeCenters. We are a real estate advising company for flex office. That means we are specialized only in flex office solutions. That means co-working, business center, service office, and so on. It means we advise companies when they're looking for flex office solutions. And we started in Germany. It's our Frankfurt. It's our base since the beginning. And we offer this advice service in whole Europe at the moment, and we're growing very fast. And this Corona situation, COVID-19 situation now, since then we could grow faster than before, but the main problem is at the moment that everyone is in the home office.
Maybe let's move to the data you collected for the report. So you collected those data on some key parameters from 2016 to 2019, just a few months ago. And so one thing is you observed that the number of desks in Germany, so it's for Germany, number of desks multiplied by 3 in 3 years' time. In co-working spaces, the average square meter more than doubled in whole Germany. The prices increased a little bit, and the average size of the co-working spaces more than doubled as well. So my number one question would be, okay, according to those numbers, it seems that definitely the overall turnover of co-working space now in Germany has increased pretty dramatically, because if you keep the same price, have more space, have more desk in a average surface, which is growing as well, but not in the same space. Overall, it means that the co-working operators now seems to be a pretty good business in Germany. Am I right guessing that from the data, or it's too fast?
No, it's definitely the last 3 years. It was dramatically, or in a strong increase in the market. A lot of centers opened, a lot of new space come in the market, and with that comes a lot of interest from corporate clients in this concept. And so it comes step by step. The first centers opened, the clients saw and had the first experience with Flex Office, and with every opening, sometimes it's what we call our corporate clients, and said, okay, there comes a new center in the market for this in this city or in that city. Or we spoke about, for example, Munich 2 months ago. There's a new center coming in the market. Let's speak about it. And so it comes step by step, and then the corporate clients are definitely, or the bigger tenants are definitely one of the drivers in this process. You couldn't open, and that's in 2 or 3 years that many square meters. They opened the new openings. The average of the new openings are 2,500 square meters.
Yeah.
But that means there are a lot of centers, smaller co-working centers with 800, 500 square meters and so on, but also 10,000, 12,000, 8,000 square meters on the other hand.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's an average.
So wouldn't be able
to remind it, according to your numbers, the average size was 1,500 square meters 3 years ago of a co-working space. Now we are at an average of 2,600 square meters. And as you mentioned, there might be a big spread between the smallest and the biggest. But it's definitely a sign that also bigger players are coming in the market, isn't it? Who can afford to take up those big buildings and be able to address the rising demand. It means, I guess, also that's for bigger customers, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the big players like WeWork, IWG in Germany, big players, design offices, they rented the big spaces 2 or 3 years ago. And last year in 2019, the vacancy rate in the big cities was very low. Sometimes in one cities between 1% and 2%.
Yeah.
And so there was nothing available anymore. And so this was probably the reason why we had only 150,000 square meters new flex office space. In 2018 we had 300,000. That means double in size. But the vacancy rate is very low in the big cities, so it was definitely much harder to find good office space for the providers, for the operators, to expand. But
that's something also that comes out. I just will remind the growth, the numbers regarding the number of desks in Germany in co-working. So we were at 23,000 desks in 2016, and we are above 60,000 at the end of 2019. So as we say, it tripled. So it means indeed, as with occupancy rate that you mentioned, which is above 90% on average in different cities, biggest city of Germany. So we see definitely that the market is there, the demand is there, but something which comes out of your report is that scarcity of capacity, of real estate capacity, that would allow the growth to go further. Where's the problem? Is it a lack of construction? Is it a lack of it's just the market, which because of the economic growth the last years that just took over every facility that was available? What is the reason you see for this scarcity of capacity, and what could be the impact to the could it stifle the growth at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, the 60,000 desk what you mentioned is the new new tenants desk. That means in Germany over 60,000 desks were rented in the whole year. That comes new in the market. It's not covered the numbers of people are already in a flex office. Many customers since years. So it's only the new ones. And the main point was or is already that the availability in the market is not that big for expand anymore, and also big players like IWG or WeWork, they opened already a lot of centers, and now they have to. The one hand side, you open a center. The other hand is to make the center successful. And this is, you can't open 100 centers and forget the sales part of it. And so it's everything together. And last year it was a mix of make the center full, make it successful, be successful with the centers, and also not that many opportunities. But what we are seeing is that big corporate international companies have definitely flex office in this mindset when they thinking about new offices. It's not like a plan B, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's definitely next to conventional
Structural.
office on the same level, and they compare it and they then decide for every city different solutions. Every city is a different situation, but it's definitely a professional way to handle office space strategy all over the world at the end.
So your expectation is that the situation, the issue will be fixed by itself because of this of the landlords maybe just turning part of their facility into more flex, or partnering up with operators in order to absorb the demand that is there? Is it what you are expecting?
No, it was 3 years ago. It was only about, okay, I can rent office space to a tenant. It doesn't matter if it's a flex office operator or whatever. They pay good rent for long lease term, and then that's it. They rent. But since 2 years, it switched that the landlord realized, okay, there are many providers. There are interest in my building. But the question is now, and this is what changed, who is the right provider, who is the right operator for the building? And this mindset changed definitely on the landlord side. They're thinking about more, what can the provider brings for service in the building? Can they handle the reception, for example? Can they handle conference areas? Can they what kind of service can they bring in the building? And it's more, they're speaking more about the value of the provider for building, and not only square meters, price, and lease term, and that's it.
So likely, not so long ago, a landlord would just have seen an operator as a regular tenant and don't care about what they do. I know they are more in a partnership mindsets that would allow also maybe to have better conditions for the operators due to the added value they are supposed to bring to the spaces, right?
Yes, this definitely the mindset, the thinking of the landlord, and it's definitely the right way, because it's also depends on, for sure, on the building. If you rent a single tenant building to a provider, to operator, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they have for tenants, what they have for client, what the design is or whatever. If you have a bigger building and you have other tenants in the building as well, you have to think about which provider could be fits to this other tenant. If I have a creative area, creative location, a lot of young technical companies in the surrounding, then it's a great, cool co-working center, a bit rough look, probably the better way than let's say the high class business center style. And also the other ways, when you are in a high-rise building or in a CBD with a lot of lawyers, banks, it's maybe the opposite, that you have to think more about high-class professional with service, with everything, a bit smaller rooms. That's like a bit more the old, it's not old, but more the business center traditional way, and not this rough look. But it's always, there's no rule for it. It's always depends on the
situation,
single
locally.
situation.
And so it means that that's also something we hear from the US or the UK or some other places, that the shift towards more managed service kind of collaboration between landlords and operators. But we see also landlords aiming at creating their own co-working brand, because they fear that indeed part of their business could move away to the operators. That could unlock maybe a new chapter for the growth of the co-working markets. Can we expect that?
it's the only thing what I can say. It's a hard business when you started totally new. It's definitely a good solution for a landlord to think about it, to do it by yourself, because you can control it, you can manage it. Only what I can say, you need experience in this market, in this industry. It's not only I open a center, I open build out, create office space, and that's it. It's definitely more about it, but it's the positive effect, or the positive point, is that landlords are thinking about it. They are much more involved in the industry than 3 years ago. It's what you said, that it was a tenant.
And we see also this franchising model coming in the co-working industry now. That is, the goal would be indeed to give access to other kind of operator or outsiders to the possibility of being involved in the co-working and flexible model. It could also maybe trigger a new chapter for the growth of co-working in terms of offering.
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah,
for sure. With franchise, you can grow much faster. Than when you do it by yourself. If this is successful or not, there is also no rule. It always depends on the location, and much more important, the people who manage it. This is the personal touch. It's maybe one of the most important thing in this for every center. And but for sure it will increase, definitely, because the whole flex office industry is more on focus in the next months, probably years, and hopefully longer, when everyone is seeing that it's a nice way and nice and easy way to get an office.
To end our conversation, maybe we can have a closer look to the differences between the cities in Germany, because that's something also you have been covering. Same thing, you said there is a shortage of offices and facility in places like Munich or Berlin. In Berlin, you were saying that due to this problem of availability of buildings, the growth was slowing down in terms of capacity. Is it right? And we see that in Munich, as far as I saw as well.
Yeah, it's probably the same. Really high demand of from customers. A lot of requests looking for office space, but availability is not zero. You have always bit space available, but not the big workstation.
And one question I had also is this growth mainly driven by, for instance, we in a city like Paris, we see that a big part of the market is more than 50%, 50 to 60% of the all in co-working markets is in the end of the big five co-working operators, co-working brand. Is it the same thing we see in Germany now? It's the same proportion, or do you expect that also to change, or not so much?
Now in Germany, it's probably a top 10, not the top 5. But for sure, the big players renting the big centers. The number of different providers is very high in Germany. We have a lot of different individual centers. This is probably big difference to other countries. You have many smaller players as well, but they rent not 5, 6, 8,000 square meters. And when you take the whole number of square meters, we're speaking about 1.2 million in Germany. Are the top 10 providers definitely the big, maybe 80% of the market, something like that. They've definitely a big part of this 1.2 million.
What can be the role of the smaller player in Germany in co-working industry? We speak a lot about the distributed workforce. We also mentioned the fact that people would like to have a co-working space closer to the home. Do you see them having a role to play in that remodeling of the workplace experience?
It will definitely increase in the next months and years, because what we said already at the beginning, people or companies know that the remote work it works. It's not a shutdown of your company when the people are not in the office. They can work everywhere. Maybe not what we said, not every day, but if you give the possibilities and you don't want to drive this long way to the office, for example, and then you go to a smaller co-working center with a nice personal touch, you have a nice feeling there. It's a high standard of the new hygiene regulations, of the distancing regulations, and so on. Then they will get definitely they will play a big role in the future. The smaller co-working centers, probably a bit more outside of the city. In the last years, everything concentrated in the city center because everyone wants to be there. And one new way could be that also outside of city centers, smaller co-working centers, not 10,000 square meters. I don't think that, but a lot of smaller centers, private centers, that they benefit from this new remote situation.
Okay, I think we had a very deep and insightful discussion. Maybe last questions. What you see in Germany, and so you're active also in some other places in Europe. Is it reflective of what we can expect in other European countries, or you still see that Germany is very specific and we should expect different situation in different other countries?
The situation is nearly the same. The biggest difference is the currently COVID-19 situation. This is in every country totally different, but when the companies, let's say, come back out of the home office, the situation will be the same. When you thinking about the new, let's say, rules with Workspace or with the that you need 1.5 meters distance to the next one. It will definitely change a lot in the whole office world. It's not only flex office situation. It will change the whole office space industry, and this is probably everywhere the same. It's not if France, Italy, Spain, the countries who have really big problems with it, if they let's say come back from this shutdown and the people can go out to office again. It's at the end the same thinking. No one would like to sign a 10 years contract after the lockdown. This is what we have to. This is definitely what should change, and this is not a German thing. It's not a Europe. It's a global thing, because this a bit the distancing and everything will probably have until we have the COVID-19 situation, and this will change definitely a lot. So everyone.
Do you see already some signs that there is a peak in, or the interest is growing within the community of your customer, which are SMEs and corporations, for the Flex offering and for the co-working solution for their members, or it's too early to say?
No, it's it's too early to say that it's definitely this will happen. This is too early. The only thing what we can say is what our experience in the last 2 months. I mean, we operate. We have been operational the whole time. That means the whole COVID-19 situation. The lockdown of the company or to work in part-time or something like that was not an option for us, because this is getting your question. So many companies and customer called us about flex office solutions. And so we had from the beginning, that means I would say 1 or 2 weeks before the lockdown starts in Germany, the first call starts regarding the COVID-19 situation. And then it was increased dramatically. This was more at the beginning, explanation about possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes also to the first deals. And now more and more companies return to return back from the home office to the office.
Yeah.
And since I would say 2-3 weeks, more and more companies come out of the home office way to work and go back, and the numbers of direct deals or the request to what they really need now increase. Not dramatically. It's a hard word for it, but it's a strong increase in the numbers of companies.
But do you see
who
a
are
shift?
Interested in it?
Yeah. Do you see and perceive a shift in the mindset of those players, those regular company who only were seeing workplace as a regular office model and now are figuring out, for different reasons, but one of them, of course, due to the budget cut that they need to address, and considering coworking, considering flex as a way definitely to move forward for the future.
Definitely. I mean, I would say half of the people from the last 2 months, or the companies from the last 2 months, what we had calls, they said all the time that it's not necessary for them, or they don't need it. They have an own office and so on. Yeah, like not every company, but a lot of companies thought this. Okay. But now, since they realize now the benefits of it to be flexible, and I would say it's at the moment, it's no company, really 0 companies who said they are not interested in this model. The question is what they're doing now. What we're doing with them is to speaking about the personal situations, to speaking about which model can work for them, which solution can work for them. It's for many companies, it's not a new way thinking about flex office, but also for many companies it is a new it's the first time now for them.
Do you read testimonials or feedbacks from some of those companies in the way? So we heard about Twitter and Square. We said, okay, we will never come back to the office. Maybe Facebook saying, I think 80% or more of their people are not asked to come back to the office before the end of the year. We are the companies such as the car maker Peugeot was also saying they were going to decrease the number of desks owned by them and operated by them directly by a big percentage. You also saw maybe those statements for Barclays Bank and some others saying also that maybe 80% of the whole real estate could be sold off in the coming months or year, because they all of a sudden figured out that indeed that's not something they needed to manage themselves. Mm-hmm. Do you hear some things like statements like that from German companies now?
I mean, it's not what we hear is not only from German companies, from Netherlands as well, because they have nearly the same situation like Germany. France was the shutdown was stricter, like in Italy and Spain. In Sweden, for example, there was no lockdown. They still went to the office, but it's totally different. They're thinking about the same, but in reality, they realized the people are not happy to work only in the home office. I mean, the biggest, the most important thing is doing or regarding this COVID-19 lockdown situation, the companies have to switch to remote work, and this is a definitely a positive effect for the co-working branch, because now the companies see, okay, it works. It's not that we have to test it or something like that. They really had to do it, and so they realized now, okay, it works, but they also realized it's not for a long time. It's you can do it once a week, or maybe 2 days a week or something like that, or maybe 1 week office, 1 week at home or something like that. But to stay only in your flat at home and to work there, I spoke, or we, all employees, all sales team spoke with, say, thousands of people, and no one said it's a great situation to stay only at home and to see no one and to be only alone in my kitchen or table or whatever.
My garage.
It's. I mean, people need other people. They need the inspiration of the office. They need the structure of the day. Not everyone can be work or can work efficiently from home.
What we hear, sorry to interrupt. It's also, we had some discussion with some other French guys or in the UK, and one of, sometimes we had the feeling that it was either co-working, either home office, either work at the HQ and commute, and not a mix of those different models, where you could have indeed one day of home office a week, 2 days you have to go to the headquarters of your company just to meet with your colleague and have the important meetings, and 2 days maybe in your co-working space next door, because indeed, as you were mentioning, the kitchen or the garage are not the most appropriate place to be efficient. So is there a move you are seeing as well, with a better understanding of this cocktail of different workplace situation that we could figure out at the end to be the right balance?
Definitely. It's too early to say it's everyone will do it, but the situation that nearly all office workers can work now remote from home or wherever they are will definitely change the thinking of office working. I mean, exactly what you said. You are, for example, 2 days in the office, 1 day you're at home because you have probably children's or whatever. 1 day at home, home office is also nice, but not 3 days a week or every day. You said, okay, there's a nice co-working center next to my hometown, and don't have to drive a long way to the city. I mean, when you see how many people drive every day an hour or longer to the office, and the evening drive back, and now you have probably the possibility to go to a co-working center next to your hometown to work 1 day here and 2 days in the office. The mix of all, this will be the future, I think, and this is what the companies have to test as well. It's everyone speaks about it now. Everyone thinks about different solutions. The old way is done. This definitely, it's not this fixed structure is not anymore in the mindset of the people. But we will see what the perfect solution will be. I think it's a mix of both, and it will be a very individual way for every employee, every company. It's more individual than for other ones. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think we covered large number of topics, and there is a lot of promises. Also, yes, concern and question marks, but all over, it seems like we are heading towards a quite exciting time for coworking. And this, as we know, any crisis is the opportunity to rethink our models and improve them and make it better. But no, it's very exciting. We'll share the report as well aside. And thank you so much for your time, and
thanks.
Hopefully we see in Vienna in November for the coworking.
Yes, hopefully.
Thanks you so much
for your time, and take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.